Hey, welcome back to Unconventional Itinerary. Today I wanted to share with the single moms out there how you and your kids can travel on a tight budget. There's a crazy myth that's going around where people think that you have to be rich or have a lot of money just to be able to afford to travel. I'm here today to tell you that that is definitely a lie. It's a myth. It's a thing that, I don't know, society puts out and makes you think that you have to be rich in order to travel. But you know what? At one point in time, I was one of those people. As a kid, I thought that, in order to travel, to like South America or to Europe or Japan, you just had to make a lot of money. And even though we traveled as a kid, I wouldn't say like we traveled out the country, but we did make travels to North Carolina to visit family. But that was in my grandmother's 1992 Subaru, and it was like 6 people jam packed in there. So fast forward to my adulthood, I still thought that you had to have a lot of money to travel. I can never see myself affording to travel because whenever I would look up tickets anywhere, it was just really, really expensive, and it was much cheaper just to, take the flight over to the next city or, just go somewhere inside the United States. But even then, those tickets were still kind of expensive too. One day, I came across a blogger under the name Trippin' Mama, and she and her 3 daughters were traveling the world. And I thought that was pretty interesting how she was able to quit her job and her and her girls just travel full time. And I'm like, okay, well, how in the world can they do that? Because traveling is so expensive. And I just, it just boggled my mind. So I started following her journey. I, watched her YouTube channel, read her blogs, and I was really interested in her journey and how she was really able to afford to travel with 3 girls and still live their best life. So let's get into this video, and I'm going to share with you how you can still travel with your kids on a tight budget. So the first thing that you really want to figure out is where exactly you want to go. That's definitely the first thing that I would do, or what I did when I started traveling with my daughter. We figured out where we wanted to go. So for instance, we wanted to go to Japan. So we went to Japan, and we kind of knew we were going to go to Japan maybe 6 months prior to going. So it really wasn't a lot of time to actually really save a lot. But the next year, we actually knew about a year out where we were going to go, which was to Asia for 3 months. So let's start there. First, you need to figure out what you can afford to put away each month. Take a look at all your other expenses that are not necessities, like eating out, going to the club, alcohol, shopping. Anything that is not necessity is where you should be cutting out, and that's where you should be saving. Another items that add up quickly are monthly subscription boxes like Ipsy and BoxyCharm. There's a bunch of other ones that aren't necessities at all, but if you can cut out some of those, that's where you can save, between $10, $15, $20 a month, just off the bat right there. So once you have your budget, let's just say you want to travel a year from now. It's going to take you a year to save worth of savings in order for you to be able to travel. If you're able to put away $150 a month, $75 per pay period, this right here will help you reach your goal in a 12-month time period. After you've been saving for those 6 months, now you need to think about where exactly you want to go. The reason why I say 6 months out is because that's when you really are getting excited about your trip, and you're kind of narrowing down where exactly you want to go. So for instance, say you wanted to leave the United States and head to Europe. One of the first things you want to do is you want to see what major hubs or airports that are close to you that you can fly into for super cheap, that fly into Europe for super cheap. For example, some of the major hubs in the United States are Chicago, Seattle, Los Angeles, any of the New York/New Jersey airports such as LaGuardia, JFK, or Newark Airport, Philadelphia, and Baltimore. Those are the main airports that I have found, and sometimes Chicago too. Those are the airports that I have found to have the cheapest flights going from the United States into Europe. These tickets alone, the lowest that I have seen tickets going out of any of those several hubs were $250 or $248 round trip just for one person. Now, normally when you go online to book tickets for your kids are normally a few dollars cheaper, maybe like 15 bucks cheaper or 20 bucks cheaper. But if also you have an infant, you know, you will fly for free, or they will fly for free. One airline that I like to use to fly into Philadelphia International Airport is called Frontier Airlines. I know everyone bashes them because they're a budget airline, but for $15 for one ticket each way, I fly from Pensacola into Philadelphia for 15 bucks versus spending $200-300 just to fly to Philly. You know, it's a budget airline. You pay for what you get. You pay for your bags, which is about $29, and your $15 airline ticket. So for less than 50 bucks ish, you know, you can't beat that at all. Also with Frontier, they have a discount bin, and when you purchase round trip tickets on certain flights, kids actually fly free. So that's another, you know, incentive that I do like about Frontier Airlines. But just keep in mind, it's a budget airline. This isn't, you know, Delta or United or Lufthansa Airlines where, you know, it's top class. It gets you from point A to point B. Now you might be asking, like, how are you finding these flights for, you know, $240, you know, affordable flights? And I'm going to tell you that next. I actually use a website called Google Flights. It is through Google, and what it does is a major search engine for all the airlines, and not just airlines in America, airlines all over the world, even airlines I've never heard of before. So I like to search, so I know that I'm going to fly out of any of the Newark airports or Philly airports. So I can type in New York because all three of the airports will come up: LaGuardia, JFK, and Newark. And I can add Philadelphia International Airport in there. And then what's good about it is that I can type in Europe as where I'm trying to go. So when I do that, it will pull up any city that has affordable flights. The cheapest flights always show up first. So whether I want to fly into London, Paris, Milan, Madrid, Malta, anywhere, those will come up first. So when I use Google Flights, I usually try to fly into the cheapest city in Europe because it's so cheap to buy airline tickets once you're in Europe, or take a train or take a bus to get around Europe. So I highly recommend Google Flights. There's other ones out there like Skyscanner and Skipflag, but I find that I find the best flights on Google Flights, and you could also track them, and they'll send you emails too when the prices go up and down. So since we're at our 6-month mark and you would have been saving $150 a month, you should have about $900 saved at your 6-month mark. And right now you definitely would have enough money to buy tickets for you, for your adventure with your kids. Let's just say it's you and one child. You and your one child can buy tickets for around $550 round trip going into Europe. You know, you can't even, it's rare that you can find a ticket for 2 people in the United States. And for instance, if you were taking your 2 kids with you, you can buy your tickets for about $750-800. So you would still have $100 or so left over that is still in savings after you have purchased your tickets. Now you have 6 more months left of savings to go. As soon as you book your flight and you have your dates and everything situated, I highly recommend that you book your hotel. Now when I say book your hotel, I mean reserve your hotel. There are a lot of places and websites that you can book your hotel that you don't have to pay up front, even directly with the hotel. So what I like to do, I like to use booking.com or Agoda. And the reason why I like to use those two is because you don't have to pay up front for the most part. There are some hotels that require you to put a deposit down or pay up front, but many of them you don't have to put any money down. It's just a reservation, and it says, you know, you have to cancel within 5 days of arriving or whatever. So even though you're 6 months out, you can still book a nice hotel, and who knows, you might get a really good price, or you know, you have it booked, and as the time gets closer, you can see if the price has changed. If it's cheaper, you can, you know, cancel that reservation and rebook. What I do is I find a hotel that I like, and then I type that hotel's name into the Google search. And from there, I look to see who else is offering that hotel for a good price, whether it's directly with the hotel, whether it's with a third party like booking.com or Agoda. I like Agoda because you actually get money back to use towards other hotel stays. For instance, when we were in Bali, We were in a really nice hotel. Actually, we had like the suite. I don't even know how we got that, but everyone else had like a way smaller room. There were just 2 suites at the hotel. But we wanted to stay in the hotel a little bit longer, and I went to rebook it on booking.com. It was just like kind of really expensive, but I ended up just typing in the name of the hotel, and it took me to their actual main website, and they were actually running a deal. It was like buy 2 days, get 1 day free or something like that, or spend 4 days, get 2 days free. So that was actually a better deal. So I don't suggest waiting till the last minute, because that's when hotel rooms get like kind of crazy, or you don't know if there's like an event going on. So the earlier you can book your hotel, the better. And like I said, you don't have to put money down. It might ask you for a credit card, but 9 times out of 10, they're not going to charge your card at all. It's just for reservation. So we have the hotel booked, we have the flights booked. Now let's talk about food and accommodations. I like to book rooms that have a refrigerator or a kitchen, which is not really common, at least in the hotels I've stayed at, had them while traveling through Europe and Asia. But what you can do, all the countries I've been to, they have like a Family Mart, a 7-Eleven, a Marks and Spencer store where you can buy heat up meals, sandwiches, fresh food, where you can easily wrap up, put it in the refrigerator, you just, keep out overnight. And that will save you money versus like eating out. I found like eating out at like McDonald's and Burger King and just restaurants were like really, really expensive. So you can go to the store, buy your family, snacks and food and everything. So we all know kids like to eat every 5 minutes. And you can just do that to save money. Normally, I think we spent, and this is because Mackenzie likes to eat a lot, we were spending a lot on food. I swear it was like $60 a day, it felt like, because Mackenzie wanted to eat 5 times a day. But after we started getting snacks and finding snacks that she liked at the store, it actually cut down almost in half the price that we were spending daily. So even with this tight budget, you can still afford to eat out, just not eat out every day. Take advantage of the Family Marts or the corner stores that are available to you that do offer food for cheaper. And most of the time, their food's really good. I know in Japan, the 7-Eleven, the Family Mart are really, really, really good. And the Lawsons are really good. Same in Europe. Like I don't think I ever come across any bad food from one of the gas station stores. And lastly, let's talk about what's there to do and what you can do for free, what's not going to be expensive. I like free stuff. There are a lot of things everywhere, especially in Asia, where you can go for free. Outside of the zoo, I know in Europe, a lot of let's say in the UK, all the museums are free for kids to get into. Or actually, they're free to get into, period. I don't think any of us paid to get into any of the museums. There's a lot of monuments and statues and landmarks and parks that are all free to get into. So I highly suggest take advantage of that. If there's a specific place that you're really interested in and it does cost money, you can use an app called Klook, Klook. It's very reputable, and you can use it just about every country, and everything's legit on it. You can buy train tickets, you can get discounts. I know when we were in Hong Kong, we got discounts on the cable cards. There's a place called Cosmo World in Japan. Just about anything you can get a discount on. So I highly suggest using an app like that. There are other ones out there, but I specifically have only used Klook. Also in some countries, even if you're not able to get in free, like there's sometimes like a small fee. I know one of the shrines in Japan, you just had to pay 200 yen, which is like $2 to get in. And then to go inside the Great Buddha at Kamakura, it was like 20 yen, which is like 20 cents maybe, give or take, if the dollar to yen is equal to $1. So yeah, there are a lot of free options, and also Google is your friend. There's a lot of blogs out there. If you type in the top 10 free things to do in Finland, or the top 20 things to do for kids in Europe, there's always going to be a blog up where someone has wrote about it or is talking about it. I hope this video gave some inspiration to travel, knowing that you don't have to have $5,000 to travel just for plane tickets, because easily from Pensacola going to Europe, Japan was, I think, almost $3,000. one year we went, versus if I had known that I could just travel to Philly, and then when we booked our flights to Europe or Japan, I think it was like $500. Um, you know, I just wish I knew about this information before. So that's why I'm sharing with you guys. Traveling does not have to be expensive. It's very affordable, and if you can afford to put away $150 a month, $75 per pay period, cut out unnecessary eating out, you and your family can enjoy a wonderful vacation that they're forever going to remember. Even if they're babies, you know, just the experience and the bonding time you have with your kids is definitely worth it. So I hope you guys like this video, and I hope you guys come back to my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will be doing more videos coming up, hopefully more on traveling and world schooling, but